Kia ora and hello, I'm meteorologist Chester Lampkin for Earth Sciences New Zealand. This is an updated video recorded Tuesday afternoon on the 20th of January. We are tracking two areas of low pressure set to have significant impacts to Aotearoa, New Zealand, right on through Thursday and into Friday as well. Again, this is a situation that is continuing to develop. It's evolving quickly. You'll want to heed the warnings from our friends over at the MetService. They do have some orange warnings out as of this video recording for portions of the North Island, also some heavy rain watches, and also there are wind warnings and watches out as well. So again, they'll have the official warnings on their app and website. Let's get into this discussion about these two areas of low pressure that we're tracking. One is sitting over the Tasman Sea. Follow my cursor here. Here's Aotearoa, New Zealand, and then here is the Tasman. You can see that low pressure center there. This is the one that has brought some rain, some of it heavy at times across parts of the North Island over the last 24 hours or so. And then we have this area of low pressure that is sitting well off to the north in the Coral Sea. Now, this one is expected to move south. I'm going to show you that movement on our global model here. This is our UM or unified model. We talked about this yesterday. This is a global model that goes out approximately 6 days, and it takes you right on through the rest of Tuesday into Wednesday. And notice all of this blue and some of these purple shaded colors on the map indicative of rain, some of it heavy at times across New Zealand through Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and right on through Thursday as well. In fact, by about 5, 6 in the morning on Thursday, this area of low pressure is forecast to be almost right on top of the North Island, somewhere in and around the Northland, Auckland, Coromandel region. But the impacts are being felt all the way into the South Island as well. You can see some rain, some of it heavy at times, about portions of Canterbury and the West Coast, as well as that second area of low pressure sits just off the West Coast or the Westland region of the South Island. We'll continue to take this forward into the future. Again, this is a global model. I'm going to show you our in-house high-resolution modeling in just a moment to give you a better idea of the rain potential and the wind potential for both the North and South Island. By the time we get into Thursday afternoon, the low is going to be centered somewhere over the North Island, moving off the coast of the North Island as we head into the later afternoon and evening hours on Thursday. However, we will continue to still get some impacts from this system right on through Friday. You can see an area of low pressure sitting off of the coast of the South Island, and that is expected to bring a pretty strong south to southwesterly flow across the country with additional rains for the South Island and scattered shower for the North Island. What's going to happen is we've got this low pressure centered here. We've got a ridge building into the Tasman Sea behind it, and then off to the east here as I move myself off the screen, I want to show you the full frame. Right there, there's another area of high pressure well off to our east, and that's going to block the pattern. So essentially, we're going to be sort of stalled out for a couple of days with that low sitting nearby New Zealand. So we'll see, again, a showery weather, kind of a grunty southwesterly flow across most of the country this weekend. Honestly, not the best summer weather for the weekend. This will be heading into Saturday and Sunday. So let's get into the high-resolution modeling. And again, we're going to start with our New Zealand high-resolution model. We call it the NZCSM. And this particular model here showing the heavy rain that we're expecting for the rest of your Tuesday into Wednesday across the north of the North Island. So let's go into the timeline here, take you through this afternoon, and you can see all these purples showing up here in that moist easterly flow. That will bring occasionally some downpours to the Auckland, Coromandel, and the Northland region. But the real heavy rain really sets up later on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we start off with lighter to moderate rain, some scattered shower, becoming more numerous and more widespread and more of a steady, heavy rain as we head into Wednesday afternoon. And that's what these purples are indicative of. And that's really the time period when we're going to be most concerned about impacts across the north. So if you are watching this video and you live in Northland, places like Kaitaia all the way through Kerikeri, over towards the rest of the Bay of Islands and down through Whangarei, you'll want to stay very aware of the weather forecast and the potential for flooding, slips, and down trees, the potential for strong, severe winds as well. power cuts as well. That's something that we are going to be expecting. These are some of the potential impacts with some of the heavy rain that moves in on your Wednesday afternoon. We'll take you a little further into the future here. You can see those purples still showing up there across the east of the North Island. This is going to be some incredibly heavy rain through Wednesday evening before we start to see things wind down sometime later on Wednesday night. But even as this area of heavy rain moves farther to the south into the Coromandel and into the Auckland region, you can see some purple showing up there in Auckland. Another wave does move in late Wednesday evening into Northland before all is said and done, as that low pressure center moves across and into the top of the North Island. So we stop the clock here near the end of the model run. This is Thursday morning, right around 7 in the morning. You can see the low is right over Auckland. The heaviest rain has now moved into Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, and parts of the North Island, the lower North Island, I should say. We're also going to be watching heavy rain across the South Island as well. So I want to move the timeline back just a little bit just to show you what happens in the South Island, because we are expecting some heavy rainfall there as well. Tuesday, generally dry for the evening and overnight hours. Wednesday, we start off with mostly dry sky, and then heading into later Wednesday, we can see an area of moisture move towards the South Island and move into the West Coast during the afternoon and evening hours on Wednesday into Wednesday night. And then you can see the spillover rain into the east of the South Island late Wednesday night into Thursday. So we do expect the potential for some downpours, even getting into the Canterbury region. Banks Peninsula quite exposed to the potential for some heavy rain. And again, the Southern Alps, no doubt, going to see some heavy falls as well right on through Thursday morning. All right, so how much rain do we get? And I'm going to show you very quickly some of the potential rainfall totals from our high-resolution modeling. And again, note that the model does end on Thursday morning, and with additional rain on Thursday, the totals could be a little bit higher for the South Island. We'll start in Northland, where we expect some of the heaviest rain to fall, and you can see, look at these numbers that show up here, in excess of 100, maybe 150 to 200 millimeters. And these really deep purples showing up here just to the south and east of Kerikeri and north and east of Whangarei. So again, in the Bay of Islands and along that eastern coast there could be some locations approaching 250 millimeters according to this model data here. We move a little farther south, you could see some high numbers here getting into the lower Northland region and up towards the top of the Auckland region, exceeding 100 millimeters from Wellsford down towards the Warkworth area and right on through the Hibiscus Coast. And even in the Auckland region, certainly going to see some heavier totals. Could be heavier than some of these numbers, but the modeling showing upwards of 50, 60 millimeters. And then to the Coromandel, where some of the heaviest rain will fall as well. The Whitianga, we've got numbers approaching 120, 130 mils there. Whangamata, 110, 120 mils. And some of the ranges in the Coromandel could top 150, 180 millimeters of rain. And then over to the Bay of Plenty, same story there. A lot of rain expected. This one only has about 70, 80 mils for Tauranga, but it could be much closer to 100 mils in parts of the Bay of Plenty, especially in the Western Bay of Plenty, in the foothills and along the ranges there, right above Tauranga and to the west of Whakatane. There are watches and warnings out for these regions, again, from our friends over at MetService, showing you some of the other numbers across the area. Our modeling isn't quite as high here, but I do think some of these numbers may be on the lower end, about the Waikato and towards Rotorua as well, with expected rainfall totals approaching that 50, 60, 70, maybe upwards of 80, 90 mils. And the rainfall rates at times could be in that 25 to 35 millimeter per hour range across the Bay of Plenty in the Coromandel, and in the Northland region could exceed 40 millimeters an hour at times, with all the heavy rain expected in that region. I want to move a little farther to the east to quickly show you what's happening in the Gisborne region. Most of the heaviest rain will be about the ranges, but Gisborne likely to experience some heavy rain as well. And I want to show you the South Island just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect on the West Coast, about Hokitika, Greymouth. And again, this is through the end of the model run, which is Thursday morning. Notice these numbers are popping up over 100 mils. Greymouth, Hokitika, up towards Arthur's Pass as well. and the Aotearoa region, and then down through the glaciers, we could approach 100 millimeters. And to the east along the foothills of the Canterbury High Country, some areas could end up in that 80 to 100 mil range. This particular model not showing as high a totals, but again, note that this ends at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And if you'll bear with me here as I jump over to one of our other high-resolution models. This is from the NZ LAM, which goes out just a little bit further into the future, a little bit more forward in time. It takes you all the way to Friday morning. And notice these numbers here showing up 80 to 100 mils about Christchurch and Banks Peninsula specifically. And look at these high totals about the West Coast exceeding 100 millimeters as well. I want to show you up towards the top of the South Island, north and west of Machueka, about the Abel Tasman National Park, and out towards Collingworth as well. We're looking at some numbers that could easily exceed 100 mils in those areas. Nelson, Richmond, numbers could be on the high side as well, depending on how that wind flows up into the Nelson and Richmond areas. Certainly looking at numbers that could exceed 30, 40 mils, but this may be on the low end as well. And we're going to go back to the north just because, just to kind of give you an idea of how this particular model shows the heaviest rainfall totals. Again, this is 100 to 200 mils for Northland, Auckland, the Coromandel, and the Western Bay of Plenty, and portions of the Gisborne region. In addition to that, we have the wind. And the wind is going to be quite strong across the east of the North Island, specifically into the Northland region. So we'll go back and roll back the timeline back to the beginning here, showing you again our high-resolution model, our New Zealand CSM. And this has winds approaching 70, 80 kilometers per hour. At times on Wednesday during the afternoon and evening hours, you could see some of these numbers here a little bit closer in. I'm going to move it in just a little bit closer. There's Wellsford approaching 60 to 70 on the gust there. Look at these numbers as that area of low pressure, that tropical low, sinks southward into the Auckland and eventually into the Northland and Coromandel regions. And some of the wind gusts exceeding 70 to 80 on our high-resolution modeling. It's potential that some of the most exposed locations will see gusts exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, especially there on those east-facing slopes in the ranges and on the east coast areas of the Auckland Northland region and down through the Coromandel and the Western Bay of Plenty as well. So winds, another factor here, in addition to the heavy rain, which could lead, again, to power cuts, could lead to slips, and just hazardous travel and just dangerous overall conditions. So it's a good time to prepare yourself, have your emergency plan ready, charge the cell phones, know your escape routes if you live in a flood-prone area. Maybe a good time in order to communicate with your neighbors as well to make sure that they're weather aware as this developing tropical situation moves across New Zealand. This tropical low moves southward over Wednesday night into Thursday. Okay, lastly, I'm going to show you one more model, and that comes from the New Zealand Ensemble. And this is a rain scenario. Total rain through Saturday evening. So we talked about this in the previous video. The video of the map on the far right here, I'll move out of the way, is the high end scenario, and then the map on the far left is the low end scenario. The middle, 50th percentile, that middle scenario. And these purples are indicative of total rains of exceeding 200 millimeters in portions of Northland, the Coromandel, and in parts of the South Island as well, in that Westland area up through Arthur's Pass. So in the high scenario, which is located right here where my cursor is, that is the worst case scenario, which we're hoping does not develop, but is in the realm of possibilities that there are portions of Northland, Coromandel, Western Bay of Plenty, and even the Auckland region, again, 1 to 200 millimeters of rain. Meanwhile, in the South Island, again, the West Coast, parts of the Tasman and Nelson districts, the ranges of the Marlborough region and the high country of Canterbury could exceed 100, maybe approach 200 millimeters, according to the New Zealand Ensemble forecast model here. So there's a lot to watch over the next couple of days. Thanks for watching. We are going to continue to monitor this situation. Again, our friends at MetService tracking these two areas of low pressure that are set to bring the potential for significant impacts for Northland, Auckland, Coromandel, the Bay of Plenty, and other parts of the Waikato, and other parts of the North Island, and portions of the South Island as well, specifically the West Coast, the Canterbury region, and perhaps the Tasman district, primarily north and west of Motueka, where the heaviest rain will be, and strong winds about parts of the North Island as well. Again, check with the MetService for the latest warnings, and we'll be back here with another update as necessary. And stay weather aware and stay safe out there. I'm Chester Lampkin for Earth Sciences New Zealand.